Hello everyone, Judith, your courage coach, here today to talk to you about boundaries. Boundaries, for me, even if I were to skim the surface, is a pretty big subject. So I'm actually going to break this up into several parts over the next several days. But let me start by telling you that for me, I struggled with establishing and maintaining personal boundaries for almost my entire life. I know a few videos ago, I confessed that I was a recovering perfectionist, but my issues went way deeper than that. I struggled from what I now endearingly like to call the 3 Ps from hell: perfectionism, people-pleasing, and peacemaking. And people pleasers and peacemakers have a really tough time establishing and maintaining those personal boundaries, because over time they have been deeply conditioned out of fear to care more about maintaining the peace, the status quo, not rocking the boat, maintaining security and stability, and caring more about what other people think and making other people happy, caring more about other people's feelings than they do their own. And a while back, I came across a really interesting definition for boundaries that was extremely helpful to me. And it basically described boundaries as nothing more than our feelings. When someone does something towards us or in our space that doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel right, they've crossed a personal boundary. And that doesn't inherently say that what this person did is right or wrong, good or bad. It doesn't inherently say that your boundary is good or bad, or whether it's serving you or not. You know, we have a lot of boundaries. We put up a lot of walls to push things away that actually would be very good for us, would very much serve us, you know, out of fear and our limiting beliefs. You know, so when somebody actually does cross your boundaries, though, it is our responsibility, first and foremost, to honor and respect that boundary, to honor and respect our feelings, which means sometimes we need to dive deep into those feelings and find out what is it that's really going on. You know, what's at the core of those feelings? What are we actually saying that this means about us? And if after we do that, we find out, oh, you know, I think that was just me being afraid. I think that was my old small self wanting to play it safe, and I think I can let go of that now, then great. However, if after that deep dive, you realize that no, this is actually violating my core values, my core value, then it is your duty, your responsibility to yourself to stand up for that boundary, to stand up for yourself. And I'm not talking about these one-off, out of the blue, someone comes in and violates you. That's a whole different thing. What I'm talking about here is these people that we have in our lives that time and time again are doing things that don't feel good to us, that don't feel right, that we feel violate our core values and who we are, and yet we're not doing anything to change it. You know, yesterday in my video about the platinum rule, I mentioned that we teach people how to treat us. You know, and I invited you to take a look at the important relationships in your life, and if there are things going on and things that are happening that don't feel right to you, to encourage you to maybe have those courageous conversations. You know, but what happens if after having that conversation, no matter how lovingly and respectful you communicate, you know, your boundaries, your needs, your desires, and you don't get the respect back in return? What do you do then? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's video. I think I've given you a lot of food for thought, so chew on that a little bit today. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know your thoughts. Pass it on to somebody else if you know someone who really needs to hear this message. And in the meantime, go out there today and live from your courageous heart.